Hi everyone, it's Nicole. Welcome back to my channel and another paper crafting video tutorial. Today I am super excited to share 3 brand new cards featuring decorative tile backgrounds. And we're doing kind of a mix and match, my very favorite way to create cards, where I'm taking some brand new products and pairing them with previously released products that you might already have in your stash. So the 3 new products we're using today are the color layering tile stencils, the decorative tile stencil, and the decorative tile stamp set from the June 2024 Extras release from Hero Arts. They have unveiled a brand new subscription program, where there's lots of different subscriptions, so definitely run over to Hero Arts to check all of that out. My cards each month feature the extras, previously known as add-ons. So these are all extra products. These are going to be available at your favorite retailers and online shops, and will, be part of their release in their catalog and not one of those subscription-based products that sells out and then is gone forever. So these are things that will be in their catalog. Now, one of the things I wanted to do, and that's going to be featured on all of the cards, are text backgrounds, which are always one of my very favorite things, as you guys know, to use on my cards. So what we're using is a previously released stamp set called Background Texture Strips. And I am stamping the solid texture strip 4 times on a 4 1/4 by 5.5 inch panel background. The 4 colors that I am featuring today are Dusty Blue, Stonewash, Nautical, and Passion Fruit. And there's going to be some combination of those inks on all 4 cards. I kind of kept the color palette the same, even though all 4 cards are different. They all will have certain elements that are very similar. So basically we're creating that stacking block background. And what is fun for me, I guess, is I love seeing a card come from this point and you keep building and adding to it to what it becomes in the finished design. That's always my favorite thing. Now with the background texture strips, there's the solid block, 2 different text blocks, and a music note block. I am using more of the typewriter or dictionary text block in all of my cards today. So on each one of these backgrounds now, I am taking that text and I am stamping it right over the top. And I'm kind of mixing and matching colors. However, when you get to that nautical block of color up there, that was my darkest shade. There isn't really going to be a darker color that's going to fit, that is going to, be able to be visible over the top of this. So I will pull in some white pigment ink for that area. I have to have some white pigment ink somewhere, right? It's almost like the red hearts in my cards at this point, where I have white pigment ink or red hearts or both. There are no hearts today. I know. No one's going to believe it. So I am simply just kind of picking a darker shade to stamp over the top of each of these, or in the case of the nautical block, we're going to use the white pigment ink. So basically just this beautiful blocks of color with text background. Now, I think this background's really pretty as is, but my whole idea behind all of this is finding a fun and unique ways to use the decorative tile backgrounds and background builders from this June 2024 release. And so what we're going to do is we're going to take that decorative tile stencil then, and we are going to stencil over the top of this blocks of color and text background to give it some texture, to add some interest, and even go outside of the block image. Now, if you don't want it to go outside of your stamped background image, you could mask off the edges, but I am going to be placing this in my stamp wheel. We're going to take the decorative tile stencil, some Hero Arts white pearl paste, and we are going to kind of messily place that or apply that paste over the background. I don't want it to be perfect. If you definitely could cover the whole thing, but you can see I'm just using my Hero Arts palette knife and I'm kind of just going in very messy and applying that paste like so. And then I'm just going to peel this off and we're going to set this aside to dry. And it's going to give us this beautiful, beautiful effect. I love this background. I could see doing this in a lot of different colorways with a lot of different types of backgrounds. So I'm going to set that aside to dry. We're going to build all of our backgrounds first, and then we will go ahead and add sentiments and embellishments, which are very simple. Next, we have our color layering decorative tiles. This is a 4-piece stencil set. And we are going to start with our base color. Now, I wanted all of my cards to have a similar look and feel, so I am not going to change the color palette today. We're going to go right back in with our same 4 ink colors. We're going to start with Dusty Blue, and we're going to start with our first stencil and apply that color. I am going to grab a nice big blending brush because this is a pretty big area. I could see creating a whole set of cards with this stencil set, actually either of these stencil sets, but this one would create really quick and easy backgrounds and do like a whole assortment of cards. You could do them all the same. You could do them on all different colors. I have done that in the past with other videos and other products, but I really love this for building unique backgrounds. So that is our Dusty Blue color. Now, I shouldn't have removed that stencil, but luckily with stencils, you can come right back with them. And I'm like, oh yeah, I see now. I need that stencil. So let's go back and put our stencil back in place, because then we're going to put the insert in place. And for this, we are going to use Nautical. This is my darkest color. And yes, even though this is my darkest color and we have 2 more lighter colors, you're going to still see that definition in all of the different colors we're using. So I'm just applying that Nautical right here in those center elements. And then we can remove both of these stencils and go in with stencil number 3. For stencil number 3, let's see. Let me pick out which one it is. I like to kind of look at them. They are numbered, and you could probably do it in any order you want, but I did do it in the number order that was given. We're going to lay this out, and this is going to be our stonewash color. So our kind of mid-tone blue color for the sake of today's cards. And I'm just going to go in, and I'm trying to do a very nice light-handed application, but I definitely want that full coverage. And then we're going to take our final stencil. Look how beautiful that looks. And we are going to do the passion flower, our purple. A beautiful lilac lavender color. I want to make sure I get this lined up. And even though I love how the background looks, for me personally, I'm not a huge white space person. As much as I love white space, and our first card does have a nice, I like a white space border, but I'm not great at super simple. I tend to be what we call lovingly here extra. So the Hero Arts Extras each month is a good name for it for me. We're going to go back to that same background texture strips stamp set from Hero Arts, and instead of placing it in my MISTI, I place that background on an acrylic block, and I am doing a random text stamping all over the background with a couple of shades of ink. So I used some Nautical, I used some passion flower, and we're just going to fill in all those little gaps, and instantly the text background adds so much interest to the background of this card. So it makes the decorative tile, it all just flows really nicely. And you could do this with anything. You could even use an all over background stamp if you wanted to. I could see doing this same medallion in Christmas colors with a Christmas background stamp. Hero Arts has amazing Christmas text background stamps. You could do this, think fall and Halloween cards. I mean, you guys, so many great color schemes out there that you could use. Now we're going to take the decorative tile stamp set, and I am going to use my Misty for this, and I have another 4 1/4 by 5 1/2 inch background. All of my backgrounds are the same size, and I am using the same 4 ink colors, and we're going to build a tile background. Now you could fill the entire space if you wanted to, meaning the entire background. You could find a square die that would work with this, and you could stamp these on a separate piece of paper and then die cut them out and build a background, which I do want to try at some point. But I tried to go really easy with this, and what I'm doing is I'm building an angled background. Now, I've talked about this in other videos in the past when I am doing some sort of a design and it's hard to get straight if you're going horizontal or vertical, but diagonal tends to be a little more forgiving. Like I maybe didn't get my spacing quite right with that passion flower block right there that I stamped, but in the finished card, you're not going to see it. And I am doing, it's a little over half of this background with these decorative tiles. And it was very easy. I'm just trying to kind of mix and match them. I'm doing my best to get them like, I've tilted them, kind of put them on end, if you will. On point is what it's called in quilting, for any of my quilters who know that, where I've tipped it, obviously. So I've got my point up at the top and up at the bottom, and I'm trying to keep those fairly straight up and down. But otherwise, I'm just filling in all of those little areas from the top left, kind of to the bottom left, up to the top right. We're going to leave that bottom triangle or bottom kind of corner empty, and we're going to fill that with text from that background texture strip stamp set. So kind of the same general idea. These backgrounds came together really fast and really, really fun and super creative, super pretty. If you love creating your own backgrounds like I do, these are amazing new products to add to your stash. But maybe you have things in your collection already where you could create similar backgrounds. Hopefully this inspires you to maybe think about the things that you already own and create something similar. I'm gonna just keep adding, and there's lots of different tiles here. It's a really great basic stamp set. And again, just by changing your color scheme, I think you could make this look completely different. You could do this for all seasons, all holidays, styles, color. A rainbow background would probably be amazing in these decorative tiles. I think like a very bold graphic, black, white, or like a dark charcoal and white would be really, really cool. And then have a big bold pop of color, like let's say a bold red heart. Think of all of the different kinds of backgrounds you could build with this. And then, like I said, if you die cut some of these shapes with a square die, you could even pop them up and emphasize different blocks. So just kind of lots of different ways to think about this. It looks like I need to fill in one more teeny tiny little point up here just to fill in that space. And then I will use some Post-it tape to kind of mask off my tiles, but I want my text to butt up right next to it. And I kind of considered several things. At first I thought, do I want to stamp over the tiles? And the more I looked at it, I'm really glad I didn't, because I think that it looks a lot more graphic and interesting with the text just in that bottom right corner. I'm going to grab my stamp wheel just to kind of help. And I considered going at an angle, and I'm glad I didn't do that either. I like that the tiles are at an angle, but that the text is not. So we'll just use a little Post-it tape. You can see it's not perfectly straight, but that's okay. Really, you can't tell so much once you get the text on there and add everything else. Some of my text didn't stamp perfectly. That's okay. I want it to be very grungy, very organic. It doesn't have to be perfect here. And again, I'm just kind of filling in. I think I used all of the dusty blue color for the background here. And kind of where that lighter area is, my sentiment's going to go anyway, so I won't worry about it. I love this background. It turned out so much better than I thought it was going to. This was what I thought was going to be my quote unquote least favorite. You guys, I can't even pick a favorite. I absolutely loved how all three backgrounds turned out today. Couldn't be more excited. So once we have that, or once we have all three backgrounds created, it is time to add sentiments. So here are how all three backgrounds look before adding any sentiments or embellishing. Aren't they beautiful? And then off camera, I did go ahead and grab the previously released Hero Arts Luggage Lowercase alphabet dies. And there is a stamp set you can get to go with it. I generally use them without the stamp set. I just love, love, love this font. And I have die cut all of my sentiments from some Nautical Hero Arts cardstock, and I'm popping all of them up with foam adhesive. Now, 2 of them I did do off of camera just to save a little bit of time, but I'm using my Simon Says stamp T-square ruler to line up my greetings perfectly. If you wonder how I got my sentiments so nice and straight, this is how. So I looked, and how I chose my sentiments is I grabbed a sentiment stamp set. Obviously, I'm using all more decorative type of products today. There are no sentiments in the extras from Hero Arts. So I went to my stash and I picked the Message Strips Stampin' Cut. And I love it because they are sentiment strips, but I felt like these cards needed a bold greeting. So I thought, wouldn't it be great to customize my sentiments and die cut them from alphabet stamps today? So that's, I did pick out sentiment strips first because we will be using those with the die cut alphabet. And then I die cut my words. I'm going to place them where they go on each card. We have friend, we have hello, and then celebrate goes on the color layering background. And I broke that word up, since it's nice and long, into 3 sections. And then we'll put sentiment strips in between each. Using the sentiment strip die, we are going to stamp our greetings with those same ink colors that we've used throughout. And it's going to depend on each background what I am going to use. So the first one is wishing you a happy birthday, friend, which I love. And then I did feel like each card needed a little bit of some kind of sentiment, or not sentiment, embellishment. So I also grabbed a small floral, and I decided I wanted to custom color them with Olo markers. I've die cut the Love and Florals Fancy Dies from Nina 110 pound weight smooth white cardstock, and then I'm coloring it in with some Olo markers. And it's 5 different colors. I've listed them down in the description below, as well as over on my blog, but totally picked my colors from what's on the background. Yes, I did my stems and leaves in blue today because I thought green would just totally ruin the vibe of these cards, and I'm glad. That is a little out of my comfort zone. It really is. However, I am loving how this turned out. You could take any kind of small little floral or whatever embellishment you like. It's very minimal. We don't need a whole lot here. And I'm going to then tuck in these little florals just around the greeting. Oh my gosh, I love it so much, you guys. I can't even tell you how much I love how these turned out. So this card, I just decided to keep just that one floral, and you could die cut more, but I really thought I would. I thought I'd actually add more than that, but as I looked at it, I really want the emphasis to still be on these beautiful backgrounds. So I went ahead, stamped the rest of my greetings, and popped them all up with foam adhesive, colored the rest of the little floral sprigs that I placed around the sentiments. And then we have some Hero Hues enamel dots in translucent aqua, and I'm using the lightest color here. And we're going to place a few of those on each one of our card backgrounds. We'll glue these card bases, or these panels, pardon me, to card bases to finish, and that is it. I hope you guys have enjoyed this video showcasing fun ideas for creating your own backgrounds with decorative tile products from the Hero Arts June 2024 Hero Arts release. And let's take a look at all 3 finished cards. So if you create any cards based on these techniques, definitely tag me on social media. I would love to see what you create, whether you use the same products or not. I hope everyone has a wonderful day. Thank you so much for joining me as always, and we'll see you in the next video. Bye everyone. Thank you so much for joining me today for another paper crafting tutorial. I love being able to share with this incredible community of crafters. I want to give a huge shout out and special thank you to my amazing Patreon members. If you're interested in joining Patreon, please click the link in the description underneath the video here on YouTube. Patreon is a private community where you can support more of what I do. There is exclusive content, information, and behind-the-scenes content. Top-tier members will receive a handmade birthday card during your birthday month, access to D-Stash, and monthly exclusive lives, plus so much more. We would love to have you join our growing community. Please be sure to subscribe to my channel, click that like button, and don't forget to hit the notification bell to always be notified when I have a new video. Thanks for watching!